Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Can you please turn on your camera? Yeah, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Very busy,
Yeah,
but excited to be here.
we too. And welcome to the Global Virtual Summit 2026.
Well,
Molly.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, and before going to start your session, I want to introduce you to our audience.
Okay.
Yeah. Molly is an author, academic, and animator who has published 18 picture books. She completed a master's in children's literature at Glasgow University. Molly, a former teacher, transitioned her career to children's literature in 2019, completing a master's in children's literature at Glasgow University. Molly crafts narratives based on people that have been important in her life and that are simultaneously honest and gentle, teaching children about empathy, teamwork, and moral courage. Each book collaborates with a charity which is associated with the theme of the book in some way. That was an wonderful bio, Molly. You have done a great job, and the stage is all yours.
Great, thank you. Hi, everybody. So my name's Molly, and I write picture books about different animals and the adventures they get up to, trying to share stories and information in a creative, imaginative way. Um, I am I was going to share today a presentation about picture books, and I'm just not quite sure how to find my PowerPoint, but I'm hoping it will be somewhere here. But until then, I can talk a little bit about the stories I've written. So I've just written my 19th picture book, which is about a midge called Effie. I've actually got a copy here. A midge who loves rainbows, and it's got forget-me-nots because they're my favorite flower. And the midge decides she doesn't want to bite people, so she finds other things she wants to bite, and kind of travels around the world finding these things. Well, travels around Scotland mostly, and then creates these hazes. So she bottles the different colors and then creates a rainbow at the end. So the idea is that it's to midges have a slightly bad press, so this was a way to give midges a good press and to make people appreciate and like them, and to encourage people to be brave, follow their own paths, that kind of thing as well. Yes, that's the book. It's not linked on here because it's only just been published. Eamon the Bat was my one before, which is about a bat who likes the light and a flower who likes the dark. It actually won an award, the People's Book Prize, and it's was a great it's been doing really well. I travel all over the world doing my books. I'm about to go off to DC with Oscar the Fairy Cat, and then I travel to Abu Dhabi, and I travel to India hopefully next year as well. So here's the presentation. So I'll make a go of it. So these are some of the books I've written. That's my website, my contacts, so that you can reach me if you need. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, until the next slide comes, I can talk a little bit about the different books. So Oscar the Fairy Cat was the first book I wrote, based on a cat who we lost on the ferry. Okay, here we go. What do you need to belong? So belonging is quite an important theme in my stories, and so it I decided to first explore the concept of belonging, what one needs to belong, how you belong in a kind of in an environment. So it's quite a subjective thing. So people need lots of different things to belong. So sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's family, sometimes it's social, sometimes it's peers, sometimes it's people older than you, sometimes people younger than you, sometimes it's fitting in, sometimes it's all sorts of things. Sometimes it's hope, sometimes it's making friends. It depends. So what I'm trying to say here is that belonging's a very subjective concept. Okay, next slide, please. So, this is to highlight the fact of subjectivity. If you see this, what do you actually see? Do you see if there's anyone on the audience who would be able to contribute, what do you see when you see these colors? Well, so some people see an Italian flag, some people see green for go, red for start, great calmness and pleasing. Okay, well, thank you for green, calmness and pleasing. Red is love. Nice. Okay, well, that's the kind of thing I'm looking for. Well, other people see green as go, red as stop, an Italian flag if it was white in the middle. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that every person's perception of the world is very different. There's no black and white, and that's the same with creativity and stories. There's no one interpretation. Everyone can read a book, everyone can live a day and feel differently about it by the end. Okay, next slide, please. So then I broke it down into what one needs to be. There are all sorts of, because as it is very subjective, we all need different being things. So some people need to be desperate. Here I am taking an example of David the Pizzly Bear. He was in a quite a dark place for a bit. He needed comfort. He needed the he and Athena the cheetah. It's about a boy who loses his brother and he finds comfort through the bear. So it's kind of the power of stories can sometimes help if you're really desperate, and the universe can play a part if you keep the window of communication open. The universe always has a way of responding, particularly when you really need it. And ignorance, though, sometimes is bliss. And sometimes, if you are in a position that you really need something, if you're unsure of it, then that's a good place to be in as well. Okay, next slide, please. Sometimes you have to be brave. You can be a lost cat on a ferry. Take this is Oscar the fairy cat. He tries to find his sense of belonging by taking risks, going to things, meeting new people, pushing himself out of his comfort zone, trying all sorts of different situations and scenarios to find where he might belong. We can take and interpret this as going to things ourselves. Promoting, I relentlessly promote what I do because I'm the only one who does it. And if I don't, no one else will. So you have to be able to promote yourself. And it's quite scary sometimes because when I write a new book, I am sharing a very personal part of myself with the world and have no idea how people will interpret it. You have to so everything requires a lot of courage and bravery. Sometimes people stepping outside of their front door can be brave, depending what life experiences they've had. So it's brave is a very it's a very kind of personal thing, and what's brave for one person may not be brave for the other, but we have to all keep trying and supporting each other. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, until the next slide comes. Belong. Okay, so sometimes finding where you belong can take a long time. You have to be patient. You have to be in it for the long haul. And kind of have a long-term plan. So I kind of live life through having a rough plan that I'll keep publishing books and work on animations and hope that something might come out of it. You have to think of the message, what the message you want to give is. Maybe it's being kind, maybe it's being caring. You have to take the leap of faith. Sometimes you don't know where you will land. When I started my books, I had no idea how they would go. I was very penniless for a long time, and you kind of have to take that leap. And if you find funding, great, but if you don't, you still have to keep going and follow your heart. Okay, next slide, please. Be included. So some people, to belong, need to feel part of a family. Sometimes I find, for me personally, belonging is kind of having the freedom to be on my own. I'm much too happy in my own company. But for others, belonging is being part of a big family, having that kind of network of friends and contacts beyond oneself. Having fictional friends is sometimes can be dangerous because you can feel like you're part of a family, although there's only so much a fictional friend can do. So it's probably better to have real friends to include you in things rather than the fictional ones. For me, part of the network that I've built up is going to visit schools, going to do book festivals, going to meet people, kind of pushing myself on that front beyond what I've done already. It kind of gives me a sense of purpose and an enjoyment in life that I don't always find otherwise. Okay, next slide, please. Sometimes for people to belong, they need to feel like they have a home. Um, is home a tangible thing? For me, I'm naturally quite a homebody, and so if I didn't push myself, I'd probably stay at home all day, every day. But I push myself to go off, do other things, and I've learnt that home is in my heart, because then I can carry a sense of home with me wherever I go and whatever I do. And the example here is from Conrad the spider. Conrad's a poor spider who makes friends with a ladybird who lets who lets him share her crisp packet home by the river, which is showing that a crisp packet can be a home, even if it's not that home doesn't have to be anything fancy. It's just the act of sharing somewhere that's special to you with somebody else. Okay, next slide, please. Sometimes for people to belong, they need to be surrounded by friends. This can be peers. This can be people you meet in work or home or life. You kind of find your tribe, we're told. And some people can be a bit hesitant to then change. And as my mum was saying yesterday, friends kind of change all the time because what one's looking for and what one's needing in life are often changing. Yes, it is quite a it's quite a movable thing, friends, and one can never be too fixed. Whereas family, it's different because family are family no matter what, through and through. Whereas friends, you can pick and choose to a degree. Okay, next slide, please. The example here before I change is Oscar the fairy cat who makes friends with a rat. Okay, then this is my most important being, I would say, to be you, to keep away onion layers, keep away pressure from peers, jobs, work, life, and not be subsumed by need for money and success or life's pressures or social expectations or family or friends, but just to stay true to yourself. And to never give up. And Eamon the Bat here, my example, does his own thing as and stays true to what's right for him without worrying about what other people think too much. I mean, there is a fine line between becoming possibly rather selfish and staying it doesn't mean being you doesn't mean being selfish. It just means living life in a way that is true to you rather than feeling like you have to compromise and change for someone else's sake, because then you end up being a narrower version of yourself and you don't make the other person happy, you don't make yourself happy, so it's really not worth it. Okay, next slide, please. This is Eamon the Bat, the example here, who's a bat who likes the light, makes friends with a flower who likes the dark. Most important B is to be thankful. Whatever happens in life, you have to be thankful for it. I'm thankful every day, and I try my best to keep the joy of what I do alive, because I find if I lose the joy, then I won't put in the effort and the work anymore, and what I do will become invalid and unimportant, and I won't be prepared to work quite as hard as I do if I'm not keeping the joy going. So I try and be thankful all day, every day. I mean, always in life, it doesn't always go according to what you dreamed, what you thought, what your plans were, but you have to be grateful for what you've got, because I'm sure there'll be some people in the world who would long to be in the position that you're in. So I try and be grateful every single day. And I'm grateful for my business that I've been building up slowly, my Molly and Friends, and the people it's bringing into my life and the opportunities it's giving me, like presenting on this, which has been a great treat. So that's the end of the presentation. I can see there are a few questions that I will quickly fire away with, and then I think we're done. So how can books help people feel less alone? Books are a great way of making you feel less alone because they're an immediate friend. Like I said, fictional friends. Sometimes we really need them in life because they provide a comfort blanket that you really need. And also, they're more malleable than real people. They kind of do what you say, whereas real people, it sometimes doesn't work like that. What inspired me to write about belonging? I was going through a period of really needing to feel like I belonged. It was something really important to me that I needed to try and find. Why is bravery important in finding your place? Bravery is very important because it encourages people to bravery is important because sometimes it's hard to go out on your own, to launch out, to do something. I do pretty much everything on my own, and sometimes that's great, but sometimes it's hard, like anything in life, and you have to stay brave. You have to keep looking outward and not be too introspective, because otherwise you kind of lose your magic and your courage. What does belonging mean to you? To me, belonging means having a space and opportunity that I can be myself without having to compromise. It doesn't necessarily mean being surrounded by lots of people. It doesn't necessarily mean ticking life's boxes. It just means feeling like I am living my life in the best way possible for me.
Yeah, thank you, Molly. Thank you so much for your our presentation today. I hope our audience got connected with that. And
I hope so.
yeah, thank you so much for your valuable time today, and thank you for answering all the questions that are posted by the audience.
Well, thank you for providing the questions. They were great questions.
Yeah, yeah. Please be on the backstage and join the next session, Molly.
Okay, well, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.
All right, bye. Bye.